So I ran a poll last night here on YouTube. It reads, is Elon Musk's comp package going to pass? Simple enough. 47% of you guys said yes. 35% of you guys said yes, the stock is up big in June and July. 8% of you guys said no. And 10% of you guys said no, the stock sells off 10 to 30%. So 82% of you guys believe the June 13th vote to reinstate Elon's comp package will go through. 18% of you guys, based on these preliminary results, believe the vote will not go through. I am here to explain what we can expect up until June 13th, what we can expect after June 13th if the vote does go through, and I have a bold prediction and where I think Tesla stock can go by the end of this year if it does go through. And in the event it does not go through, what happens to Tesla stock? In fact, in the last video, this comment was the most up-like comment of all of them, with 23 likes currently, and I went ahead and pinned it as well. It says, I think Tesla will be over $300 by the end of this year. And to be honest, that's not out of the realms of possible. So first and foremost, here is why the vote on June 13th is so important. Currently, Wall Street is assigning a 0% chance that Elon Musk, or close to that Elon Musk is going to up and walk away from Tesla. Okay, well, I should say it's probably higher than that. So first and foremost, why is the June 13th vote so important? Whether Elon leaves Tesla, stays at Tesla, does nothing, and nothing changes, here's why it's important. The markets will say if the vote does not go through, Elon Musk might leave Tesla, and the talent might leave Tesla as well and follow Elon Musk to his other ventures. Now, just Elon being the CEO of Tesla gives Tesla a higher multiple, a higher valuation, okay? As odds increase or the risk rises that value could be destroyed in a stock, the stock will sell off because of that. It doesn't matter if Elon leaves Tesla or doesn't leave Tesla, or really what Elon says. The markets will say the risk is now higher, that value could be destroyed at Tesla. The stock's going lower on that if the vote does not go through. And that's kind of the logic behind why June 13th is so important. And to the contrary, if Elon's comp package gets voted back into approval, then Wall Street's going to say there's no way Elon's leaving Tesla and likely send Tesla stock up big time. Because let's face it, there's probably still like a 30% chance, according to the markets, that Elon could leave Tesla based on his comp package getting rejected in Delaware. So that has still been a negative headwind this entire time to Tesla stock. Now, what has been happening over the past really week or two now is you've seen a lot of hedging, and I've beaten down on this fact because I want you guys to fully understand this. Hedge funds and institutions understand how big June 13th is. They're not going out and they're selling massive amounts of Tesla stock. We're not seeing Tesla breaking down. You're actually seeing Tesla doing very well. Tesla is above its 20-day and its 50-day moving average. That's not an indication to me that you're seeing massive selling of Tesla stock. But what you are seeing, and what I've reported on every single day, and I'll continue to report on this because it's going to continue to happen, is these funds with hundreds of millions of dollars, or even a couple $1 million in Tesla stock, they're going out and they're hedging their positions. They're going out and they're buying 240, 250, 260, 270, 300 puts. Okay, now what that does is your break even is basically on a 1-to-1 ratio. So you may need like a 0.1%, 0.2% fall in Tesla stock to start making dollar for dollar. So if you own 1,000 shares of Tesla, then you'll go out and buy 10 options that are the $300 puts, and your whole position is protected for the downside. Now, what happens when you go and you protect for the downside, you give up some on the upside because that premium is gone if the stock goes higher, right? You're not getting that premium back. It's going to get destroyed. So you do not cap your upside, but you do kind of limit your upside to a certain degree when you go out and hedge your positions. So what that tells me is big money feels like the risk is high enough to protect for the downside and maybe give away some of the upside if they're wrong. And that just tells me big money thinks the risk is too high to not be hedged heading into June 13th. Now, worth mentioning is when those hedge funds and institutions, they go out and they buy those deep in the money puts, those $300 puts for an example. Well, what it does is it forces market makers to go out and short the stock. So even though hedge funds and institutions, it doesn't look like they're dumping out of Tesla stock, there is still this constant selling pressure from market makers hedging all of those options insurance. That's why I do believe we're not going to get much of anything from Tesla heading into June 13th, but that's not what's important. It's important what Tesla stock does after June 13th. Now, after June 13th, that's when we could see a huge move. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. If the comp package does not go through, Tesla stock will hit a new low for 2024. Tesla stock will likely trade down to that 120 level. That would be my expectation. You could see a 10+% drop on June 13th. If the vote does not go through, and then Tesla stock would likely continue lower. Now, I think ultimately Elon's comp package will be reinstated in one way, shape, or form, whether it's another vote or another vote, doesn't matter. Eventually, I think it will go through, but the stock would still sell off big time. And that's why big money wants to be hedged in Tesla stock, because I think they have the same expectation that I do. Even though it's a low odds, in my opinion, that the comp package does not go through, it's still a risk that if you're a big money investor with clients, you cannot afford to take. Now, I think the downside's pretty straightforward in this scenario, but the upside is where things are more exciting. See, all of those shares that market makers have to go out and short because of all of those puts that are being bought, if that vote does go through with the 75, 85 to 80% likelihood, as I believe it will, you will see something you have not seen in Tesla stock in a very long time. That is a short squeeze. Now, these market makers, they go out and they're shorting millions of shares of Tesla because they have to. Well, if Tesla stock goes up and those puts start to go out of the money, well, maybe not out of the money, but starts to, go higher, and the market makers don't need to be short all of those shares, the market makers will start buying back, potentially simultaneously at the same time, millions of shares of Tesla. Hedge funds and institutions will likely start buying back some of those short positions. And I think retail investors will be a lot more bullish on Tesla as well. Overall, you will take a huge uncertainty off the table, and that is Elon Musk and whether he may leave Tesla or take talent away from Tesla or not, pay as much attention to Tesla, right? That is something that has been negatively impacting Tesla stock for a while now. So in other words, the more you see hedge funds, big money funds, hedging their positions in Tesla, the more shorting you see because of that, is the more buying you're going to see after it does go through, as long as it does go through. And I think judging off of that, it's obviously hard to say what the actual move will be after June 13th. But I think you could see a 20+% move if the vote does pass for Elon's comp package. Now, at the same time the comp package vote goes through, you're going to be getting a new earnings from Tesla around mid-July. Delivery numbers coming out July 2nd or so. We do have more data for this week in the markets, in which I'm optimistic it will be good. Look at what we've seen on Friday. Small caps really started to outperform because PCE came in lower than expected. All of these things could come together, this summer to make for one hell of a rally for Tesla. Now, I don't want to get anyone too excited, right? Don't go out and YOLO your whole portfolio. That's not what I'm saying. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. The vote may not go through. And if it does not, we have big problems, as I said before in this video. But if the vote goes through, we continue to see Tesla work towards becoming more profitable, work towards, growing the business. We get all of these catalysts upcoming. Delivery numbers for Q2 come in good. Earnings come in good. Maybe we get more guidance for, take rates on FSD, what the entry plans are heading into China. Just a good earnings, let's call it that, where profitability starts to get better and margins continue to get better, as is my expectation throughout the rest of this year. Robotaxi Day, let's consider that a positive catalyst. I think you could be heading into 2025 over $300 per share. Easily. If all of these things go good. Now, June 13th is by far the most important event for Tesla stock, and I think that could send us into the mid 200s. Call it the next 2 to 3 weeks after June 13th. By the beginning of July, you could be a $260 stock again, back to where we were at the start of this year. And that's where things are even more exciting. Is if you get back to, let's say, 260, 265, that's only where you started 2024. If you start to get a Fed that can look at cutting rates by July 31st, which is my expectation, I mean, you're going to have a lot more capital going into areas of the markets like small caps and mid caps and interest rate sensitive stocks like Tesla that will really be a tailwind for those kind of names, including Tesla. And to be honest, I really don't see the reason to be short. I don't see the reason to be bearish on Tesla unless you think a recession is coming that's going to devastate the US economy. I just don't see the bearish case at all at this point. I could understand, why people were bearish on Tesla when every quarter was just terrible. Like, not even the numbers themselves. That doesn't even matter. The commentary, the lack of guidance, the lack of clarity from Elon and the management team every single, earnings call for 4 or 5 in a row. It was easy to be bearish at that point. I think it's becoming a lot harder to be bearish on Tesla stock. And if the vote goes through on June 13th, that could be the last straw for the bears. And I do think you might get a lot more attention into Tesla as well. At the same time, AI has been, going crazy, and certain, speculative names. You've seen GME and AMC start to make a rebound again. Now, this was a couple of weeks ago, but it shows you the appetite that there is for risk out there in our markets. And Tesla used to be the poster child of risk and risk on appetite. But I think there's so many things that have been, negative for Tesla over the last year or two that it's kept that crowd away from Tesla. I think that crowd may come back into Tesla. Remember, in markets, it's all about what's going to happen. And if the comp package goes through, margins start improving, maybe deliveries give us a surprise, uptick in Q2. We can look forward to FSD entering China towards maybe June or July. We can look forward to, things getting better for Tesla throughout the rest of this year. I think that multi-year high short position could get a lot smaller. Shorts may cover on short positions. And I know for sure after June 13th, with all of this, hedging, the market that, hedge funds, institutions are doing, forcing market makers to short stock, I know that for sure is going to lead to millions of shares that need to be bought upon the approval of Elon's comp package. So I know for a definitive fact, in my opinion, obviously it's not a fact, I'm not a financial advisor, but Tesla stock is going to move big on June 13th to the upside or to the downside. I think the odds are in your favor of a big upside move, but it's possible the comp package does not go through. If you have not voted your Tesla shares, you need to go out and vote. Every share counts in this vote. Over 70% of Tesla investors are retail, but it's hard to get retail to vote at all, right? Whereas institutions, they're all going to vote. And it seems like quite a few of them are voting no on Elon's comp package. at least the main proxy firms, the number one, number two proxy firms, ISS and Glass Lewis, they have recommended a no vote for Elon's comp package. Edgar, whatever the third one is, I've shared that news here on this channel. They recommend to vote yes for Elon's comp package, but you really need retail to go out and vote. I think retail is going to vote, and hopefully you guys have voted already. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section if retail has, or if you think retail has already voted. If you have voted, let me know your stance on that down below in the comment section. But yeah, the bold prediction is, you know, if things continue to go well for Tesla, if the comp package gets reinstated on June 13th, I think Tesla could easily be a $300 stock by the end of this year, and without a doubt hit all-time highs in 2025. I mean, the comparisons on a year-over-year basis for things like EPS, for margins, for hopefully deliveries in 2025 are going to look stellar. I mean, you're going to look at 100, 200% year-over-year rates of growth for EPS, and that's generally something the market's like. Mix that with rates starting to fall, lower odds of a recession, more capital coming into our markets, chasing the areas of the markets that you know, is benefit from rates going lower. Elon's comp package getting reinstated. I mean, I think it's easy to see this, to be honest. I think you're kind of a perma bear if you're bearish on Tesla right now with all of the good things that should be coming next. So I don't know. Maybe I'm delusional, like some people say. Maybe I have no idea what I'm talking about. I think June 13th is going to be the real test to whether Tesla stock does well or not, going ahead over really the next 6-12 months. So thank you for watching. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you made it to the end of this video. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. By the way, I will be trading Tesla stock heavily around June 13th and after June 13th. If you guys want to come see my trades that I'm making on Tesla, come get involved with all of the other trades that we make each and every single day. That link is down below in the description of this video for the trading community. That's it. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.